Hi, this is Chris Thomas from Land Flipping 101. This is where you can learn how to be a land investor and flip land for 100% ROI. And this is pretty much the channel where I explain how I flip property, flip land specifically, for 100% ROI. And what I love about it is that I can do the whole thing online. I don't have to I do not have to go visit the property. I do not have to fix anything up most of the time. I can just flip it for 100% return on investment. Hi Levi and Shira and Carol, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I started late. Hi Renee, hadn't seen you in a while. I started a little bit late because today I was driving my 14-year-old son and two of his friends to an amusement park. So the amusement park is very busy and I could not get to a good spot to sit down and do this. So I'm just pulled over on the side of the road. You see out here, I don't know if you can see that, cornfields everywhere. And I'm just sitting in my car, but I committed to coming live on Fridays just to answer any questions that anybody has, and I'm happy to help. Also, I just want to announce that if you want some help with a deal you're working on, you can send me a message through Facebook Messenger, and if you want me to review your deal and possibly fund it, I'd be willing to JV with you. You just sign a joint venture agreement and submit the deal, and I'd go in on it with you. So I just want to mention that because I really haven't mentioned that before, but a lot of people have been asking. So I definitely wanted to offer that. Hi Levi, I see you say I have a bad signal. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm using my hotspot. That's about the best I've got. So if I don't answer your questions or you can't hear me for some reason, just put your message in the chat and I'll answer it as a text. Or yeah, I'm having some internet trouble, but hopefully this will work. And I'm here to answer questions. I'm really just making myself available for anyone who has some questions. This group is all about helping people who are interested in getting into land investing as a side hustle, or like me, doing it full time. And so I'm just opening my business up to you to let you know how I'm doing it and encouraging you because I think you can do it too. And I'm happy to help you. So, oh hey Sam, I'm glad you put a question on there. What clauses and contingencies do you tell the buyer's realtor to add into the state contract when selling the land, such as earnest money and due diligence period, closing date, etc.? Great question, Sam. Is this by any chance in North Carolina? Because that due diligence clause is different in North Carolina than a lot of other states. So guess what? I don't take contingencies. So I remind people that I'm selling this property really cheap. It's below market value. Usually it's 75 to 80% of market value. And so I don't accept contingencies. So let me know, put in the chat, Sam, which contingencies they're trying to add, and I'll tell you how I handle them. And let's see, you also said earnest money and due diligence. Well, you have to understand the contract, because in North Carolina during the due diligence period, you want to ask for a lot more money because that's basically them saying, I'm going to pay you that if I pull out of this contract, you get to keep the money. So I try to make that a higher number. With earnest money, I usually don't ask for more than a couple $1,000s because usually they lose that anyway in pretty much every other state if they don't fulfill the contract. So I want it to be enough that it would hurt them, kind of sting a little if they've pulled out of the contract, and it would be enough to make the deal being off the market worth my time. Okay, so I see you said earnest money, Sam. I hope that answered the question. Hey, Skylar, I'm glad you're listening while you drive. I mean, we all have to multitask, right? So, Jason says, what steps would a seller have to take if the land is in their parents' name and the parents passed away? Okay, that's a good question. You want to get that contract over to title and ask them to look into it for you, because it could be a situation where the property hasn't gone through probate. It needs to go through probate. When a will is probated, then that passes legally. It conveys the property to the legal new owner. So if there's a will, it would say who gets the property, and you'd have to go through that probate process in order to put the new name on the deed, which would be the children's. Or, you know, you might need to fill out an affidavit of heirship for each descendant who inherited. Just ask the title company and they'll tell you exactly what to do. Okay, Sam, you said closing period. Are you asking how long of a closing period? Usually it's not more than 30 days. If people want more than 30 days, they're probably up to something else like we are. Because my closing period is 6 months with this. When a seller's selling something to me, my contract says I have 6 months to close. So I'm up to something, right? I'm trying to sell it. So if someone's buying it and they're interested truly in owning it, they're going to get the deal done in 30 to 40 days. Do I record my affidavit and memorandum virtually online, and how do I notarize it online? No, I don't do it online. Let's see what else this says. Located in a different state. No, I always call the county and ask them how they want the affidavit sent. Some of them think I'm crazy for even sending one, but I always send one anyway. But some of them have rules about, you know, you have to have 3-inch margins, you have to have the book and page number of where the deed is filed so that it's easier for them to look it up. And you have to have it notarized, and you have to send them a check. So I call them and ask them what the requirements are, and then I always do it the manual way. And I have an assistant that I outsource that to most of the time. The notary I can't outsource, but she helps me get it mailed out. Okay, let's see. Is your mailer the same as the one you provide on your website? Is there an updated one? That is the exact letter that I send to my prospects. It's a 2-page letter and purchase agreement that I send out to every single prospect I want to buy from, with an actual offer amount. What's your website or company name, and how do you get on your buyer's list? I buy land in North Carolina. That's something that I just do separately. I don't really want to publish my site. You want to get on my buyer's list? Okay, you can send me a private message about that and we can talk. Have I had any success with neutral mailers? No, I don't ever send neutral because I don't want to be bothered by people who just want to know what I think their property is worth. And tire kickers, you know, I only want people to call me and waste my time if they've seen my offer and they're interested. I mean, I'm just kind of lazy that way. I don't want to talk to a bunch of people who are maybe going to sell or maybe not. I just only want to talk to people who are going to sell. So I'm looking for a situation, you know, I'm looking for someone who's motivated, and the only way to know if they're motivated is when they call me because they saw my offer and then they tell me their reasons. I mean, the number one reason someone that I'm going to buy from is selling is because they don't want it anymore. It's just become too much of a burden and they want me to help them get rid of it. They don't usually even care what the price is. Sometimes they'll negotiate a little bit, but that is not their primary concern. Hey Caleb, I pull my data from DataTree, and yes, I've mailed tax delinquent lists before, but I have found that most of the people I buy from have been paying their taxes, so I don't narrow it down to just tax delinquent. Okay, so when you're asking about how to pick a market to mail to and what should you research, you're looking for high demand areas in the path of growth. So I like to think about big cities that people want to move to right now. You kind of know what they are, but you could probably research articles that have been written about popular destinations where people are moving, employment trends. You look at just migration patterns from the census, things like that, but you kind of know like where the hot markets are, and then just kind of look outside in the counties around that market and kind of in the direction where the growth is happening. You can figure that out also by where they're building roads, like where they're building highways. If they're building all the highways on the north side of town, even though there's not a lot built out there yet, that's the direction it's going to build. So that's the direction you want to look. And then just kind of look for areas where there are more being sold than for sale. That means there's a lot of demand for that area. Okay, I don't have much time today because I am sitting in my car, sadly. And I don't know how good my connection is. Hi, Katrina. I see you have a message here. It says, if your closing is 6 months with the seller, how often are you communicating with the seller, and what are you telling them in regards to why it's taking you so long to close? Okay, that's a really good question. I usually, I really don't call them a ton. I know some people do. I think this is a personal preference. I just say, you know, I'm going to be doing my due diligence and I'll get back in touch with you when I'm ready. And if they call me, and sometimes they do call me, I'll say, oh yes, I'm still very interested in buying it. I'm just still working on, you know, getting all the people out there, looking at all the options, you know, because, I mean, they don't know if you're doing a survey or if you're, you know, having a perk test done, or if you're trying to get city approval, like if it's multifamily, you know, or subdividing it. You know, you're still analyzing all the, you know, what the potential is for the property and what you're going to do for it, while you're also searching for people to work with you. So I usually just say, I'm not done yet, and they will accept that. They just want to know that, hey, this is still happening, and you just haven't. And then I'll say, look, since you called me, how often would you like to hear from me? And I'll let them lead that, and, you know, tell me how long, you know, if they want to hear from me. Usually they don't. They just want to know that it's still moving forward. I don't know. I hope that helps. So, yeah, Sam, thanks for your message about these lives. I mean, you've probably gotten the most out of it because you really take advantage of it. So good for you. I hope it's working. I hope your land business is flourishing. This is really just meant for you if you're a beginner in land investing, and I'm here to help. So I just kind of open up for you what my business can do. Also, I'm willing to joint venture and fund deals, which includes our deal review on your deals. So just message me through Facebook Messenger if you have something like that, and we can talk. All right, so I better go. I see one more thing here. Michelle, I wanted to say hi and thank you. You said, I found some land the owner wants to sell. I'm planning on subdividing to pay it off. He wants all the money up front and trying to figure a way, because if I subdivide it all the way that I want, the money will pay it off. Okay, Michelle, I'm not sure if I can advise you. You might want to private message me about this, because my strategy is to simultaneously close. So I don't close on property until I have an end buyer most of the time, unless it's just a home run. So, you know, that you just have to look at that and say, you know, if it's a home run or not, if that's something you want. And I don't close until I have an end buyer. And I don't tell the seller that, but that's just how I do it. So I don't know if that helps. Hope it does. But hey, reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, and I'll try to be here every Friday around noon Central Time to answer questions. But you guys, you can do this. It's a proven business model. So just let me know. All right. Have a great weekend.